All right, guys, coming up on Between Bells, checking every country off your bucket list, how one man made it to every country in the world by the age of, get this, 27. Goodness gracious, that on the other side.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Between Bells. When someone says they want to travel and see the world, normally they've got a few countries on their list of places to go, but that wasn't enough for our next guest. At 27, Sal Lavallo is one of the youngest people to ever visit all 193 countries in the world. He joins us now with more on his story. Sal, it's great to have you.
Great to be here.
So it didn't happen in a year, didn't happen in 2 years. It took about 10 years.
Exactly.
Where did you start and what was the last country you visited?
The first country was in 2004. I went with my father to Japan, and then I finished last month in Malta. It was a big party. My family came, and my friends were there.
And was there an order to the way that you visited each country?
I really wish that there was, because it would have been much easier to be strategic, but I actually counted the other day. I've been to Europe 20 times, to South America 18 times, to Africa 16 different times, so it definitely wasn't going one place and checking all the boxes. It was a long process.
Absolutely, and we were joking before we started here, but I mean, you must have racked up an insane amount of points, hopefully, during these travels. What's one of the biggest lessons, though, that you learned?
I think the lessons with points for sure is to stay loyal to one company. So for me, because I was traveling a lot for work, we were always staying at SPG and Marriott properties. And so when you put all your points and accumulate them in one bank there, then that allows you to kind of have the status, but also then to be able to use the program to its fullest.
What was your job that allowed you to travel to so many places? I'm sure many people are wondering because that's an easy way to get the travel and your business all done in the same time.
Yes, I was a management consultant with McKinsey for 3 years, and I also have worked a lot in development and in identity studies. So for school as well, I was traveling to a lot of places to look at the development issues there.
What are some of those top loyalty programs that you're now able to kind of bank some of these points and perhaps, I mean, go to Mars maybe. We don't know.
Yeah.
You run out of countries to send you to. So what are some of those rewards programs, though, that you look at?
The ones that I've always been the most using is because I've been living in Abu Dhabi the last 6 years. I use Etihad a lot for flights as well as United, because with Star Alliance you can get to a lot. But with the hotels, I'm always on SPG and Marriott. And you can also switch between them. You can put your SPG points into United, so it's kind of a good grouping to have. So for me, that's been the absolute best.
What's the most luxurious travel experience you've had, and the most, God, I don't want to,
Dingy.
Yes, dingy,
Yeah.
yes, there's a word.
I think probably flying, first or business on Etihad to the Maldives, and then doing the water bungalow at the Sheraton there, and just looking out and having only blue is definitely the most luxurious that I've done. And then probably the most dingy, I think I've stayed in a handful of places where you really wrap your sweatshirt around you so that you're not touching the bed. And I had a mouse fall on me once
Oh
in
my
the Solomon
God,
Islands.
what country was this?
I was in the Solomon Islands, and it was, I mean, it's my fault. I guess I had an open thing of food, but yeah, that was.
And island rats are no small thing. I mean, they are pretty big, so
Yeah,
that
it was
must have been
pretty-
frightening.
Carrying more diseases, typically.
Well, it was
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm good now, but it was awful because they were picking me up 2 minutes later, so I got touched by it, and then I suddenly had to get ready to go, and I was just kind of stunned.
Oh God.
I mean, how do you make sure that you're medically good after all of these trips? What are the checkups that you have to do? What's the sickest that you've gotten on some of these trips?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've probably had every kind of stomach illness you can, and it's just dealing with it, and I'm very aware of having Imodium to make sure that my stomach is okay, and then just taking care of yourself and knowing your body. And
Time zone changes, I imagine, are probably hard too, going from place to place.
yeah, sometimes it can be you'll land and you'll just try and stay awake as long as you can so that you make it, but yeah, I never know what time it is wherever I'm.
So was there a time that you remember being so ill and you're just I can't believe I actually made it through that trip? I
lived in India for 3 months working as a consultant there when I was in college, and I got so sick that I thought I had to call home and be I need to leave, and it was 6 weeks into the 12-week program, but you just like can't be in that situation where you can't even move.
Right.
But luckily, a couple days and it passed. But from then on, I was much more careful with what I was eating.
I mean, as much as I watch Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown, I think this is the ultimate Parts Unknown because you're going everywhere,
right.
not just trying the food, but you're actually staying there for what seems like a substantial period of time.
Yeah, I mean, so I haven't really lived in the States since like 2011. I mean, it's it hasn't been checking off boxes. It's really been to go and travel and understand these places. I've worked in so many of them. I went to international boarding schools and I always worked for global companies. So I stayed with either classmates or colleagues in something like 75 countries. So I've really been, kind of deep into it, but I also love the experiences in more rural places. I've crossed 105 countries by land border because I think that's always, you get out of the city and you see kind of the rural area and you learn a lot just seeing the way it switches from, one place to the other.
I know, I got excited crossing the border between Vermont and Canada.
There you go.
Like, New Hampshire, I can't remember I don't know it right now. But yeah, I mean, it's an amazing experience. What are your top tips for traveling so much?
The one thing that I always say is do what you want to do and not what you think you should do. So if you're in a place and there's tons of great museums, that doesn't mean you have to go to the museums if you don't like to do the museums. Or if it's an adventure travel spot, you can wake up each day and tell yourself, like, what do I want to do? Do I just want to stay in the hotel and relax? Or do I want to go to the beach? It's fine to do anything. You don't have to fill your vacations with 24 hours of activity. Like, be happy and do what you feel is best for you.
What about some tips for traveling to politically unstable countries like Syria?
Yeah, always be aware of where you're going. Talk to people on the ground beforehand. Before you go anywhere on your own, always ask, like, is it okay to walk here? And just stay up to date. Don't think that you're an expert on anything. Always find somebody else who will know it for you. And that's why now my main emotion is just gratitude because so many people have helped me to keep me safe, to like give me tips on where to go and what to see. So, all of that is thanks to other people.
Absolutely. Do you carry around? You mentioned this is your first time actually living back in the States. Do you carry around your passport with you, or is it just your standard wallet?
Yeah, no, I mean I don't. I actually do have it out there, but I carry. Yeah, I do usually. It's like it's like your baby when you're trying to go to every country. Like you need to keep your, the passport's very important. It's kind of the collection of the stamps, but.
I want to see it after we're done. That's the epitome of been there, done that.
And your favorite stamp in that passport?
I think that there's some, there's one from Chad, which there's a lot that are just a stamp, but the Chad one's all colorful and it's a big sticker and it looks like it's like from a super rich country, but it's from Chad. Yeah. And so I always like that because it's just the brightest.
Is it also the favorite place that you visited?
My favorite place is the UAE and especially Abu Dhabi, and I think that's where I've been based the past 6 years, and I've always done all the travel to learn about things and to learn about development in the economy. And in the UAE, it's a place where gender, race, class, religion are all such hot issues, so it's so exciting to be in a place where you can be learning every single day from people all over the world. So for me, Abu Dhabi is the best.
All right. Well, Sal, it's great to have you. I don't know what's next for you since you've done everything on the globe, so we'll have to have you back to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Sal Lavallo, at 27, he's traveled to all 193 countries.